Hi, I heard you like freelancing and Salmon Run the next wave in Splatoon 3, but I also heard you keep wiping and you think your randos are dumb. We'll say this, we've all been there. My name is Rachelski and I'm here to help you. I have 5,000 hours in Splatoon 2 and over 21,000 shifts. I'm a bit addicted to Salmon Run. But here are 5 things that I believe can improve the outcome of your freelance matches dramatically. These are things that I either see when I'm freelancing myself or the common mistakes that people share when they come to my stream. Oh, yeah, before we get into it, I stream twice a week at twitch.tv/Wachowski. It's got 7 eyes, it's kind of silly. But you should come and say hello. I almost exclusively stream Salmon Run with a core focus on freelance. So yeah, drop by.
Number 1. Turf. No, I'm being serious. Turfing is the best thing you can do for yourself and your teammates if you find you've got nothing else to do. Got an aero spray and can't quite manage the RNG for all the bosses? Then turf, especially if there's an Elita or Hydra on your team. How many times have you been a slow, heavy weapon and died because you couldn't move from a sudden snowball of enemies? Trust me, when you have the time, space and ink, turf. Turf the walls, turf the ways you go the most, and turf the basket. Movement and turf are the core principles for Splatoon as a whole, and that extends to Salmon Run too. The next wave has amplified bosses that control your turf. Flipper floppers and fish sticks are 2 new bosses that teach you why losing control of turf causes a snowball that sees you wiping. They will target you and the basket and leave you struggling for turf. Also, at the start of each wave, have you thought about turfing? It might help. Same thing applies to the lull between wave 3 and the extra wave. That extra 5 to 10 seconds you spend throwing down turf could save your fragile little squid. Number 2. Keep an eye on quota, time and teammates. One of the best things that Splat 3 has that Splat 2 didn't is visual alerts and prompts that tell you whether you're the last alive. It's a welcome change because so many games have ended when a lone surviving player couldn't see through the chaos and realise their team was dead. But with all that said, it's very important to keep an eye on whether players are alive or not. If one goes down, that immediately amplifies the pressure on the remaining 3. And what usually happens is another player goes down quickly. So now there's 2 of you alive, how do you cope? The truth is you can't, and you need to revive as quick as you can to prevent a snowball. Keep an eye for down teammates and throw bombs, specials or put down turf if you can. The sooner you revive them, the easier your job is. There's 100 seconds per wave and your quota will vary. When you hit the 30-second mark, take a look in the top left-hand corner of your screen. It will flash orange if your quota isn't met. As you get down to 10 seconds, you will be prompted with red or green text. Red text means you haven't met your quota, but green text means you have. Instead of panicking at 10 seconds left, keep an eye on your quota and time remaining. Is it worth chasing a lone stinger at 10 seconds left when you're still not at quota? Or can you survive and run enough eggs around basket and then find the way to survive the last seconds of the wave? Quotas are now higher in the next wave. Hazard level max has a wave 3 quota of 35. The highest in Splatoon 2 was 25. Keep an eye on where you are, what your teammates are doing, and how far away from the target quota you are. Sometimes your rando will run off to chase a stinger. You don't always need to go with them. Stay at basket and concentrate on clearing lessers so you can run eggs quicker. Number 3. Be strict with your time. Can you account for every second of every wave? Sit and think what you're doing with your time. Any inactivity can lead to your demise and eventually your team's wipe. What are you doing with your time? It's normal to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're dying a lot and struggling to control the chaos of the wave. But going back to point 1, even if you're turfing, you're still doing something. You should always be moving, and this includes turfing, running eggs, killing lessers and killing bosses. The devil dances in idle minds, and the small fry are essentially the devil in this world, so kill them and keep moving. You're part of a team, so look to what your team is doing and support them. Are they killing effectively? Don't try to contest for boss kills with them. Run their eggs and go to the next kill. Use your time wisely and concisely, and you'll find you can control your surroundings better. Even if you're luring a scrapper to basket, you're still using your time well, but more on that point next. Number 4. Support your teammates. We briefly touched on this, but let me paint you a picture and ask you a question. It's low tide, and as soon as the wave starts, all 3 of your teammates run to the shore and immediately stun a scrapper and attempt to kill it. You're stood at basket, repeatedly pressing this way, and wondering why you aren't passing waves because you keep getting put with randos that don't know how to lure. Listen, luring is self-explanatory, but it's not intuitive. This game doesn't do a good job at telling you that all non-static bosses can follow you, and it makes sense to bring them closer to basket. But because the game doesn't tell you this, your randos won't think to do that. So what do? Is it A, stand at basket and shout this way and refuse to help your teammates who are now causing all bosses to spawn at the shore and are attempting to kill everything on sight? Or is it B, go and help them? Seriously, go help them. Your randos might not be able to kill things as quick as you, and more hands are better than less. You might have a powerful weapon that can one-shot or one-cycle enemies. Get down there and help them clear lessons and get the game moving. Standing at basket and refusing to help means you're inactive, and this goes back to point 3. You're a detriment to your team at this point. Sure, we'd love to lure every boss, but we can't, and your game will be a better experience if you run down there with them and control the hordes. Otherwise, you'll have more bosses than you can deal with, and soon all your randos will be shouting help. Number 5, don't die. Talking about help, don't die. I'm being serious. Do your absolute best to avoid dying at all times. You need to be cautious, and you need to be the anchor that holds your team together. This is what happens when you die in freelance. You're dead somewhere far, and your randos can't cope with the extra pressure and eventually die one by one. You're dead somewhere far, but your randos come to revive you, but they die in the process, and now quota isn't met and a bunch of bosses have moved away from basket. You're dead but close to basket, but your randos stay there repeatedly shooting at your yet-to-appear lifesaver, ignoring bosses, lessers and quota, and you get revived but you don't meet quota because your randos wanted to save you instead of playing objectively. When you die, you're out for, at best, 5 to 10 seconds, but in a lot of freelance games it can be longer than this. What this means is your time isn't being used effectively and your squad is now handicapped. Suiciding for boss kills and being egg crazy usually ends in death for you, and this game punishes you way harder for dying than Splatoon 2 ever did. You don't get iframes, you don't get a second to breathe when you're revived. As soon as you are revived, you are immediately targeted. You might be out of place and unprepared. Then you get stuck in a death loop because as soon as you're revived, you can't cope with the onslaught. Dying is losing control, and the key to surviving and thriving is to always have a level of control. Thanks for watching. Another way to improve your gameplay is to watch my streams over at twitch.tv/Wachowski, so come and say hello.